This ain't for small talk, no casual lines. It's for the messages we type but never hit send in time. The draft folder full of ghosts, the words we needed most, left hanging in the silence where the love was once close. I see your name and my throat still tight, still feel the fire from the words I couldn't write. I kept it soft, I played it safe, but the truth don't fade, it just hides its face. Dear friend, can we talk? Not the fake kind, not the polite, I mean the midnight kind. They am not alright, the mirror truth that don't dress up nice. Dear friend, can we talk? Let me say what I held too long. I swallow pain just to stay strong, but healing starts when we admit we're wrong. I practice what to say in the shower steam, had the whole damn speech but lost it in the scene. I said it's cool when it burned like hell, that's a wound you know too well. Had dinner with regret and pride, but never myself. My voice went quiet but my chest stayed loud. The truth kept knocking but I turned it down. They called me too deep, too much, too soft, but soft don't mean lost, it just means I fought. Dear friend, can we talk? Can we talk? Not the fake kind, not the polite, I mean the midnight kind. I'm not alright, the mirror truth that don't dress up nice. Dear friend, can we talk? Can we talk? Let me say what I held too long. I swallow pain just to stay strong, but healing starts when we admit we're wrong. Alright, cause face to face feels like too much. I text cause your voice might break my trust. I email hope with no time attached, but every line I send is a piece I get back. Dear friend, can we talk? Can we talk? Not the fake kind, not the polite, I mean the midnight kind. I'm not alright, the mirror truth that don't dress up nice. Dear friend, can we talk? Can we talk? Let me say what I held too long. I swallow pain just to stay strong, but healing starts when we admit we're wrong. Dear friend, can we talk? No more silence, no more shame. Let's lay it down, don't need to place blame. I just want peace, not to win the game. Dear friend, can we talk?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please as we go through the following safety instructions.
A special thank you from the heart.
Salute and welcome to Dear Friend, Can We Talk? We are now on episode 3. I know you've seen different parts because sometimes the conversation gets so deep that it requires a part 2. And that's okay because this is something that needs to be talked about. So you don't rush anybody just because. You let them get it out. I want to welcome you here. And before we welcome our guest to the stage, I would love for you to consider this. Have you ever walked around with a story that you never told anyone? Just kept it to yourself. You never sat down with yourself to unpack it and address it. Keep shaking off the emotions and pushing it away because it's not conducive to your present lifestyle. That's what our guest is confronting today. In this letter, there is a release valve that slowly deflates the untruths and allows the truth to finally come to the surface. Our guest is not seeking validation. They're just seeking relief for something unsaid. This space isn't about coming off healed. It's about being honest enough to admit that you're still carrying things that deserve to be released. You adjusted yourself so many times, edited your truth until it didn't even sound like you anymore. And the worst part, nobody noticed. They praised your strength and never once asked about the cost. So today you say it because you deserve to hear your truth out loud. It doesn't need to come out perfect, just real, just yours. We start here, not with solutions or lessons, but with honesty. Some stories don't need to be rewritten. They just need to be told raw and unpolished, the way they actually feel. So here it is. Your mic, your moment, your mouth back in your possession. Let's talk. We're here today. Let me introduce our guests to read their letter. Ashe, Ashe. Let's welcome our guests to read their letter to someone they need to speak to. This letter could be to a friend, an ex, a parent, a sibling, or even a version of themselves. Letters can be anonymous or named, past or present. They can be written to the living or the transition. The only rule, it has to be honest. Welcome, beloved. Please proceed.
Thank you. This letter, dear friend, that means me. This is about returning to the version of me that got left behind when I kept choosing other people's comfort over my own peace. The real me, the one who knew what didn't sit right and felt it anyway. I've been moving on autopilot, managing routines while carrying stories I never even got to speak out loud. I didn't want to, because somewhere down the line, I made a deal with myself that said survival mattered more than truth. I kept showing up in places I had outgrown, answering to expectations that were never mine, and excusing behavior that drained the best part of me just to avoid another argument. But guess what? I'm tired in a way that doesn't fix itself with a nap or a trip, the kind that creeps into your bones, an exhaustion that shows up when you've been invisible in plain sight. My need to stay tucked under people's priorities, and I've poured so much into fixing everything else that I forgot what being full even feels like. There were moments I should have walked away. I should have raised my voice and protected my name, and I didn't. I didn't even know. I kept thinking about how many of those decisions came from trying to avoid more loss. Well, the truth is, I lost so much of me trying to hold on to people who were never committed to holding on to me. I let my standards slip just to feel chosen. That is over now. I'm no longer swallowing my truth for the sake of being liked or framing my needs as too complicated to be handled. I'm here right now telling the truth to myself because I owe it to myself. The same care I kept giving away without reciprocity, I owe it to myself. The kind of love that isn't measured by how much I can endure. I owe myself rest, repair, and a space where I don't have to translate my pain into something digestible for folks who never even asked how I was really doing. This is about choosing me without a permission slip, waiting on an apology that probably ain't never gonna come, and releasing the ideal that love should hurt or that loyalty means tolerating someone's disrespect. I've watched myself spin in cycles and call it destiny when it was just familiarity. I know better now. I spent enough nights explaining my worth to people who refuse to see it and try to convince anybody that I'm worth the risk because I am. I always have been. I am no longer negotiating that truth. So here's where I land. I forgive myself for all the times that I didn't speak up, and I release myself from the guilt of being tired. I release myself from the obligation to carry broken bonds with outdated roles. I deserve to be held as I am, to be understood, to be chosen out loud. And I'm the one who will choose me first this time. No more explaining what should have been honored the first time. No more reading old text trying to make sense of neglect. No more compromising my peace for proximity. And damn sure no more letting my value be questioned in someone else's hands. So this is where I reclaim that I'm returning home to myself. This is just me with no shame attached. Ashe.
Gratitude. Thank you for your courage.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming forward. With that being said, we're going to take a small break right here, and we'll be right back.
Indian trails to the freeways, we make the hustle look easy. Trapping ferns all season, the way we push our line. Yeah, we are still the people from those times. Yeah, through it all we continue to shine. Indian trails make freeways over time.
I feel the ancestors, they still with us. They give us the fight when we in the field with it. Blood on the foundation, we build with it. The echoes of the past shapes the mold. From the cotton to the concrete, the story's been told. And let the real American Indian story unfold. Take pictures with the flames, let it burn in your soul. We carved from the land, they tried to race us with one wave of the hand, but still we stand. How you doing the treaty? That ain't your man, the game was planned. They drew them lines, and on them trails to see the world through an Indian's eyes. They say the colonizer came, and the Indian died. But I told you we still here, it's time to instill fear for thinking they can come near an aborigine. Our family legacies is deep in our memories. Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Choctaw, fucking with the chiefs and get you knocked off. The warrior spirit ride. And them stories that was left behind. This is my path, and I'ma finish this trail in due time. Ain't nothing fucking with my bloodline, we shine. Part of my design.
Indian tribes to the freeways. We make the hustle look easy. Trapping fellas all season. Way we push our line.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Let me welcome our guest. I want you to know that this is not a traditional interview. This is a soul exchange, because I know that you're not looking for answers. You're looking for the truths. Everyone. You just heard a letter written to herself. I think what struck me the most was that she decided, after all of this crap, and I'm sorry I said crap, that she decided to switch lanes and stand up for herself, and stated in her own mind, with her own words, her declaration, signed not in ink, but with her heart and soul. That's what stood out for me the most. It's not just what was said, but what never got said. So let's get into it. Our guest decided that she would like to remain anonymous. So I just wanted to let you know that that is an option here on Dear Friends, Can We Talk? You don't have to show yourself. You don't have to use your name. You don't have to do any of that. This is a safe zone. You don't even have to read your letter. I can read it for you. And you can respond to just the questions. And that's it, and that's all. But let us proceed.
Okay.
What made you finally sit down and write this letter to yourself?
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. You just get fed up one day.
Mm.
When you've been in control of things and you felt like you've lost control and you said enough is enough. That's how I got here.
And does this roll into the fact that you just been running on autopilot and couldn't speak and surviving over everything else?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the greatest contributor.
Understood. Was there a particular moment that made you realize that you hadn't been fully honest with yourself? What did that feel like and look like for you?
Mm. Yeah. The moment was well, I've been in Georgia 5 years. And on this fifth year being here was probably one of the most tumultuous years that I've had since I've been here. But
Mm.
it was the first look that I got to see dealing with a family member really hurt me to the core. Like all it shattered my dreams, my hopes. It broke my heart. It made me feel unsafe.
Well, you know that the year of 2025, if you follow me on YouTube and all the other social media platforms, And not only myself, that everybody's been saying it. It's the year of revelation.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever was going on in the dark came to light, whether we're prepared for it or not. Um,
Yeah.
and there's things that you just can't be prepared for, even though in your mind it tells you one thing, but when you're actually in the heat of it, all of that goes out the window.
Sure
So
does.
I fully understand what you're meaning with that. And this was a family member, which made it even worse.
Yep.
So, with that being said, that means that it drug up all the stuff, possibly from the past.
All of it.
Okay.
Childhood all the way to adulthood.
Wow. I'm not going to push you on this
Uh-huh.
um, any further, but I do want to ask you, how did it feel to hear your letter read out loud?
Mm. It felt freeing, liberating. Um, it felt like I snatched the mic back to be able to tell my own story to myself. Not even to anybody else, but to myself.
Yeah, it'll do that. It'll definitely do that especially when you speak it out loud. Because there's a lot of trauma that we all go through. Some of us are open about it and tell our own stories in our own words. So we get out ahead of the narrative that they want to teach. And we have to be, if there's anybody that we have to be honest with, it is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to write a letter to yourself and stand 10 toes down on your belief system, that is very commendable. Some
Thank
people can't face it because it's like looking into a mirror and tattletaling on yourself. So,
you.
you know,
Well, I know change starts with me, and I'm so dedicated to creating a better life for myself and for my family. I've taken hits everywhere else, and it was like, why haven't I taken a hit for myself? Why am
facts,
I not trying for myself?
facts on facts. I say this all the time. And you can't give from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, instead of giving them the cup when it's replenished, give them the saucer, the spillover.
Mm-hmm.
So you give abundantly to yourself first. First.
Yes.
Okay. What part of your letter what part of your letter scared you the most to admit?
Mm-mm-mm. The part of my letter was trying to convince people to see my worth or to acknowledge or to hear me. That's what scared me the most. The fact that we want love. We want people to accept us, especially when you're dealing with family, because most of my heartaches have been dealing with family issues. And so wanting to be seen and heard when you know that you haven't been was probably the most difficult part of my letter, is that I know I've been doing this. Do y'all see me? Y'all hear me? Am I there?
Understood. Because you stated in your letter when you read it that you were surviving over everything else and that you were knowingly, or maybe even sometimes unknowingly, excusing their behavior
Mm-hmm.
towards you. And you felt invisible in plain sight. It's like people were just discounting you, even though you were there in the physical body.
Yep.
It was like, yeah, 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 you know what I mean? And
And,
they were hearing to respond. I mean, to react and not to respond.
mm-hmm.
They were listening with their mouth and not with their ears. And the things that you were saying, they probably didn't want to hear it because
Yes.
it shed light on their bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you were like, well, I can fix it. I can fix it. I can fix it. I can fix it. No, that's active participation
Yep.
for the both
Mm-hmm.
instead of it being active participation for the one.
Right.
There's no such thing as participation if it's just you. May I offer?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you think the version of you from 5 years ago would recognize this version?
Oh no, not at all. You talking about the meek, quote unquote, humble, the I'm not gonna say anything to ruffle people's feathers. Like, even though I could be a firecracker at times, my core demeanor was I'm just gonna stay silent. I don't want anyone to get mad. Now I'm learning the balance of that because I'm out loud with it now. I'm speaking more than I've ever spoken before. And I know that my old self would be like, who is that person right there? Because she got some guts. She really laying it in. She really do care for herself to be able to speak up in that manner. So no, I don't think that my old self would even recognize who I am today.
So, with that being said, you believe that you said that this was a balance. So, is this now considered a win because you're now standing up for yourself and being more vocal? Do you feel that you're being vocal enough to invite anybody else to hear your truth out loud?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So let's just go down that alley for about a minute.
Okay.
You stated that you were talking about how you neglected yourself. Now you were talking about that to yourself. Now, may I offer that you are now talking about this to them, which
Mm.
makes them uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because that's what you stated in your letter. And you lost yourself, and you will also, it's about the truth, you know, for the other people, and that you don't even care anymore how it comes up and comes out,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you get it out, whether they're receptive to it or not. Am I clear with that?
That's where I have been and where I'm learning the balance. Yes, you are right.
Okay. So let me just, because I just want to stay here. So 5 years ago, you allowed people to, um, you allow people to take advantage in the fact that they know that you didn't want to like buck up, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. So that was something that transpired. Now, you also brought up that it was the year of 2025. So what happened between 2020 and 2024? That where the tide started to turn. When did the tide turn?
Ooh. I can say it has been a transition in between that time. I've had
Mm.
my husband pass away that really kind of opened my eyes to. I had a near death experience that put me on a whole different track of why the hell do I care what anybody thinks or has to say about what I'm
Mhm.
doing. And honestly, the biggest one for me was the near death experience.
Mm.
That's what took me to a point of burning fire on everybody. And that's why I said I have to learn the balance, because even with me sticking up for myself, people can become burnt in that. But because I was at a point where I almost lost my life, I was not willing to sacrifice any more of myself to anybody.
You got a new take on life.
Yes.
You got a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. And thank God that you were able to survive whatever that was. Thank God. Thank God for your family. Thank God for you.
Yes.
Thank God for
Absolutely.
the simple fact that you got that second chance.
Mm-hmm.
People get second, third, fourth, fifth chances all the time. I happen to be one of them people.
Mm.
But God,
Yep.
don't trip. Still working on me.
Mm-hmm. Me
But
too.
but they have a near death experience. Can shake, rattle, and roll your ass. Oh, excuse my profanity. But I'm glad to see that that gave you the spark that you needed to speak up. Thank you for sharing that truth.
Yes.
What do you think happens when we don't give ourselves that space to tell the truth?
Mm. It's almost like going in a dark cave and curling up and dying slowly. That's what it feels. That's what it feels like, if I can even relate it to anything, because it's a dark place to be when you can't acknowledge what has happened in your life. And then to come to a point where you've accepted it, also then to come to a point to where you can change it.
Mm, mm. So, in your opinion, do you think that people go into a proverbial cave when they can't
Mm.
cope with what is actually going on around them?
Absolutely. That's their safety. That was my safety. That was my safety net. In that cave, nobody could get through that cave. And as you know how caves are built, they're deep down in rock and stone. And so sometimes you feel that that is your place of survival. Nobody can touch me here. Nobody can get to me here. And if they're coming, I can see them before they come. And when I say see them, you can see how people, your emotions can be triggered. You can see the things that you're running away from. You can see how they affect you, but yet you are still so deep in this cave, you're not willing to admit it, or you're not willing to handle it. But you're safe right there, though. You're safe here.
So may I ask you a question just to go in with that just a little bit? In
Yes.
this cave that you feel that people go in and that's their safe space. So that's their inner safe space.
Right.
The outer you, going back to what the first thing you said, went on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
Or did you stay in the bed?
Oh, I have so many. Ooh. Okay, well, in this, I got two faces in this, right? The first face would allow me to get dressed up. I'm beautiful. you wouldn't even be able to tell that I had things going on because they were well masked by the beauty of the outside. The second mask that I wore is the one that nobody really got to see, which was the depressed me, which I was still functional, but I couldn't move. I was stuck. My mind was stuck. My heart was stuck. I was in a bed some days. But
Mm.
because I was still functional, people didn't believe that I was even in a dark place. Because I could dress it up some days and make it look pretty on the outside. It's like, you doing fine, you got this. But on the inside, I'm dying.
So what I just heard you say, that that dark cave on the inside, you were still functional. However, they didn't see the other side of it, that witnesses that you were actually depressed.
Hmm.
And in that, you fine tuned being the master of deception.
Absolutely.
We're going to stick a pin right here. I'm going to go past. We're going to come back to this.
Okay.
If your younger self could write back to you now, what do you think that they would say?
Oh, goodness. Now, I thought about this one long and hard because my little self would have a temper tantrum all over me right now. Just being honest, the fire from my younger self would say, where are you at? What are you doing? Why you not paying attention? You smarter than this. Because as a young child, I've always been ahead of my time. Everybody has always told me since I was a child I had an old soul, so they felt like I've been here before. My
Probably.
younger self was like, you've been here before. Excuse my French, but what the fuck is going on? Look at what's going. Remove yourself, because in any situation that I have been in my younger self, it was like if I would have just got up and just moved. If I would have just got up and just left. Just that little minor thing. So my younger self is like, why didn't you fight more? Why didn't you talk?
Huh. Okay. Sidebar. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I just thought about when you said that? I saw the movie Inside Out.
Yeah.
All of the emotions. Oh, warning, warning, warning.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Inside Out. Now, with that being said, I mean, it really hit some parts.
that
And
could sum it up though. That's a good one.
the Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it is a Disney movie or a Pixar movie, everybody, but
It's
I
real.
recommend I recommend you go back and watch that movie because
For
it
real.
will definitely open up your eyes to a lot of different emotions that go on in our head, moment
Yep.
by moment, second by second. How many times we react in so many different emotions that we go through.
Mhm.
And that's what it sounded like to me, that your younger self was like, abort, abort,
You
abort.
summed it up perfectly like that. You because now I'm thinking because I seen the movie and I'm thinking, and that's exactly was me as a child. Girl, what you doing? Why you doing that? And anxiety over here, like just push the buttons, girl. Get up and run.
Yeah.
Get up and go. And then my anger is like, no, I'll stand right here and fire them all up and act out in front of all these people. You might get a whooping though, but go ahead and do it.
That's
Maybe
what's
they'll
up.
recognize you.
I think everybody
So
should. I
yeah,
recommend the movie,
watch
part
it with a
one
different
and part two.
perspective. Yes, definitely. You summed it up. That's a good one, Blended. And watch it with a different perspective. Don't watch it with the kid or it being Disney. Like literally just be open to the perspective of literally this is what goes on in all of us.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to take a small break here. Please, by all means, I put a lavish light on the table for you. I got you some sweet tea. Please take a sip and light up a lavish light while we go and do these messages. We'll be right back.
This is not survival, this is return. You feel that? Yeah. We already home. Welcome to conversations that protect. Welcome to the blueprint. Welcome to the war room. Welcome to the rebirth. Welcome to the moment you finally said yes for real. Welcome to your journey home. We don't speak to perform, we speak to prepare. We don't hand out hope, we hand down prayers. Every word's a bomb, a blade, a blanket. This is soul armor in songs. Coming close, baby. We got you. That ache you carry, it's just your ancestors waking up in your chest. This is the welcome home. Long overdue. Breathe in the ashes, that's where you begin. This is your shedding, this is your stretch, this is your return. You whispered yes, and the universe cracked wide open. No more maybe, no more delay. You said yes for real. Now spirit can move through you unapologetically. Say it with your chest. Welcome to Conversations.
And welcome back. Please tune in to Big Brother Mouthpiece. He's doing part 3 of his episode and his part of sovereignty for the journey home. It has been an inspiration to hear things from a male's perspective, security, and all things like that. He gives you so much information on what we're doing that we can sustain ourselves in the blueprint for 2025 and beyond. So please tune into Big Brother Mouthpiece House on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link will be in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Can you either reread a paragraph of your letter, the part that may summarize your feelings, or is there something else you want to add?
The part of my letter that I want to reread will be, this is about choosing me without a permission slip. Waiting on an apology that's never gonna come. And I'm releasing the ideal that love should hurt and that loyalty means tolerating disrespect.
Oh, you sound strong in that. Shoot. There we go. There's no that was good. That was good. Thank you for being a guest here today. I really truly do. I appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you for your honesty, your bravery to come here and read that letter out loud for others. So you don't know who you may help by doing the things that you do. So I want to tell you that I appreciate you for that.
Gratitude.
That being said, we will be coming back with a part 2 because we're going to dig a little deeper. And we'll be coming back the following Monday with episode 3, part 2. Once again, thank you so much for pulling up to
You're
Dear
very
Friend,
welcome.
Can We Talk? Ashe. Before we close this one out, I need you to hear me clearly. You don't owe the world a polished version of yourself just so they can finally take you seriously. You don't have to rehearse your breakdowns just so somebody will stay long enough to hear you out. That's not the work. The work is being real with yourself without needing approval. You heard this letter today. Maybe it reminded you of the things you never said. Or maybe it brought up a mirror that you've been avoiding. Either way, let that be movement, not shame. We say this a lot on this platform, but I'm going to remind you again, your truth does not expire just because time passed. If it still lives in you, it still deserves space. And if you never get to say it to them, say it to yourself. That counts too. This is not about fixing anybody. It's about making sure you stop leaving yourself behind every time you try to keep the peace. So whether you write it, speak it, burn it, cry through it, just move it. You deserve more than fake ass peace. Catch you next time. Until then, don't leave your truth unread. Have you ever written a letter to somebody that you never sent? You held on to those words, right? You held on to them. Well, here's an opportunity that's being extended to you. If you would like to be a guest on Dear Friend, Can We Talk? This show is about real people, real stories, and the truth that we've been holding way too long. If you have written a letter to a parent, a friend, a lover, your child, or even to yourself, and you're ready to share it, we'd love to have you on. You can appear as a guest and read your letter, or you can remain anonymous if you choose. Or if being on a platform isn't for you, you can email us your letter and we'll read it for you. Send your submission or letter to chimakaessentialblends at gmail.com. Put in the subject line, Dear Friend, Letter Submission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. If the truth's been sitting with you, this is the space to let it breathe. Thank you for coming through, and we will see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ashe and deep bow to each and every one of you.
Dear friend, can we talk? You ever hold something inside you so long it starts to rot? The truth fermented in silence. This ain't about closure, it's about honesty. When I do with harmony, yeah. for the ache I've locked inside for such a long, long time. Dear friend, can we talk before the silence swallows it whole? I need you to know I tried, I cried, I'm here, I'm home. I tried, I cried, I'm here, I'm home. Light issue, bleacher, should have snap or piano, internet delivery. There were nights I wrote you letters, tore them up before the dawn. Pages heavy with forgiveness, but too late to right the wrong. Golden threads we're weaving in the night, turning broken pieces into shining light. No rush, no race, we move in time. Every voice a color in the grand design. Every soul has a place, every dream has a home. Together we're stronger, never alone. We got that golden flow, love in the rhythm everywhere we go. No competition, only space to grow. COC, yeah, the world gon' know. We got that golden flow, love in the rhythm everywhere we go. No competition, only space to grow. COC, yeah, the world gon' know. COC, yeah, the world gon' know. From the roots to the skies, we're rising high, building bridges wide, let the truth untie. Energy electric, hearts insane. Pour it in the circle, we all drain. Every soul has a place, every dream has a home. Together we're stronger, never alone. Say where we got that gold.